everyone, this is Carla, and welcome to an all new issue of Adventures of Workforce Development. So, this is episode part 4 of the Wonderlic test. And I'm doing this series to give you a peek behind the rainbow of workforce development. So, just like I took a previous test called TABE to test for adult basic education, and I didn't know that existed because I graduated from high school. I didn't know this test existed either. It's called Wonderlic. I just learned about it last week. But once again, this is a part of workforce development. They do a lot of adult testing. And I wanted to talk about it because not only did I know about it, I didn't know what the score was because there's some practice tests out there. And if you don't know what the score ranges are, when you do get your score, you would look like, oh my goodness, it's bad. But the Wonderlic score is based on the usual bell curve or normal distribution. So they do it in percentiles. So when you do something like you score in like the 18th or the 20th percentile, and my score is higher than that, it's because it's so far on the left. So yeah, this is my right, but it's so far over here that you think you actually fail. So when I Googled what the Wonderlic test percentiles were and looked at my score, then it was actually a good score. So my score, I took the test today, and my score was 27, and I needed it for this particular training provider. So, and the minimum was 15, and it just made me think about how much I always prize keeping my skills current, being literate, always learning something new and applying them. Because in this situation with workforce development, this being my second test, those tests really take you off guard because you're not really anticipating having to take battery tests, or you don't know anything about like workforce development or adult education placement. So you don't really know that the TABE test exists. I did know AccuPlacer because my hometown community college, which is Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland, they did AccuPlacer, but they do TABE, AccuPlacer, Wonderlic. It just magnifies. Always stay current on your skills and your calculations because you truly needed this. I didn't, just like TABE, you couldn't use a calculator, so you have to be able to compute without a calculator or your cell phone or your computer. You have to be able to do it, physically and by hand. And that really helped me because I'm very good in that respect. So my score was 27. I learned from the training provider that the average range was 20 to 23. So that's way above average. And I'm very happy about that because that was the one thing that I was nervous about taking the test and the score and just having a low score because I didn't think that, everything would be null and void, which is great that I've been accepted. So I'm going to do a more recap about the Adventures of Workforce Development, Part 4. The Wonderlic test. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, and I'm currently doing Adventures in Workforce Development. I'm a native Clevelander from Cleveland, Ohio. After spending 12 years in D.C., I'm back home, and I'm going through workforce development to get training and more opportunities, as well as like improve my certification because I'm also a project management professional, certified Scrum and IDO with 13 years problem solving experience in project management, big data, and in IT service management. But what I was talking about was the Wonderlic test, and this is the second battery test for adult basic education that I had to take. Now, I will distinguish between that and the TABE. With TABE, the actual government, like the labor force, they wanted me to take TABE for their internal. The Wonderlic was the training provider where I would get the training from. So that's their battery test. But still, it did get me because I didn't anticipate taking another battery exam. Also, how to just spring them up on you and you have to be ready. And as I mentioned before, I was very happy that I have a very high skill level because when they spring those tests on you and you only got a week to prepare, then that's a skill that most people don't have. For instance, I passed my certified Scrum in 5 days, and that's for Agile Project Management. I completed my IDLE 3 in 7 days, and I completed my IDLE 4 this March 31st, 2019 in 11 days. And it was self-study. There was no in-person anything because the IDLE 4 just came out February 28th. I passed it March 31st, and they just started rolling out the classes in April. So didn't have a lot. But when they sit down and tell you got to prep for these classes or prep for these tests, now doing that turnaround in a week to prepare for a battery exam, assessment exam, that's a unique skill set. You have to be very, very highly skilled. And then they have a certain bar you got to ace, and it's a lot of work. But I'm very happy that I already have that pre-existing skill set because it makes it made me perform a lot better. Like on this one, I scored 27, which is above their range of 20 to 23. With the tape, I scored 12.9 plus, meaning I was a graduate senior in reading and in math. And I'm very happy at the results because that means that I get afforded more opportunities, more people looking for me on my behalf, and other things unlocked, which is great. But this is this episode of Adventures in Workforce Development, part 4 of the Wonderlic test, like what it's about. I'll put the Wonderlic test link, just a brief summary about what it's about in the description, so people can familiarize themselves with it. I would like to thank everybody for checking out my series, Adventures in Workforce Development. This is part 4. And so I do it every time I get a new development. And I'll see everybody in the next episode of Adventures of Workforce Development because I'll keep everyone posted. Once again, my name is Carla R. Jenkins. You can get in touch with me at carlarjenkins.com/work and look at what I work with. Also, you can get in touch with me on my LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IM/Carla R. Jenkins. So I would like to thank everyone for taking out the time to watch me. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.